The president and the American people are having a slight disagreement over the economy. The president thinks it's awesome, while the American people seem to think it sucks. For more on this, it's time for a closer look. As I'm sure you guys know, the economy is awesome. The other day, I went to the grocery store and bought some coffee, some bananas, some ground beef, and long story short, I have to keep doing this show until 2038. And I don't know if I can. For one thing, who knows if Trump will even still be president by then? Anyway, the economy is awesome despite a few very minor setbacks.
The ADP payrolls report showed for November that the private sector unexpectedly shed 32,000 jobs. That is the steepest decline in more than 5 years.
Small businesses are, in the words of the report, starting to crack as the economy gets weaker. 4 of the last 6 months have now shown job losses.
Analysts say nearly 1.2 million jobs were cut so far this year. That's the highest amount recorded from January until November since 2020.
You never want to hear that something is the worst since 2020 because if I recall correctly, 2020 was the year that we all wore respirators to the grocery store and poured bleach on our mail, and I did my show from the attic like the ghost of a J.Crew manager. The job cuts were the highest in 5 years. That means the job numbers are the worst since crooked Joe Biden crashed the economy in 2020. Sorry, what's that? Oh, Trump was president in 2020? And look, even I can admit COVID was the driver of the economy collapsing in 2020. But what's great is when people told Trump that, his response was, I can also do it without COVID. People are giving COVID way too much credit. So we might be losing jobs, but at least prices are also going down, right?
The latest consumer price index shows overall prices rose by nearly 3% on an annual basis last month.
Most of the increase was driven by the basic necessities for Americans. Groceries and energy prices, those are the need-to-have things. That was significantly higher.
The cost of heating our homes projected to rise 7.6% this winter. $54 more for families heating with gas, up $100, 10% for those heating with electricity. The average home heating bill for the entire winter, $976, rising more than double the rate of inflation.
That's right. Heating your house is going to be so expensive this winter, you're going to have no choice but to go out back and chop some wood. I've already started. Every morning, I'm out there with a cup of coffee, 5:45 a.m., in my boots and my long johns, swinging an axe, and I'm just with you. If I had to chop wood to survive, I would freeze to death. That's why I make my assistant Chelsea do it, and she, don't groan, she loves it. It's a great workout for her, and sure, doesn't mean I have to read my own emails and make my own restaurant reservations, yes, but that's the price I'm willing to pay to keep my family warm. Now, real quick, why is the price of electricity soaring so much anyway?
Electricity is up because AI data centers are sucking up so much electricity that is also driving costs even higher.
Oh, awesome. So next month when you get your electricity bill and it's 10% higher, just be happy knowing that 10% made it possible for your weird uncle to post an AI Facebook meme of Rambo and Jesus Christ riding a Harley together. No, just to be clear, that's not AI. We use Photoshop to look like AI because we would never use AI to replace a graphic, I mean. We did replace our cue card guy, Wally, with an AI version called Wall AI. Isn't that right, Wall AI?
Ha ha. That is correct, Seth Meyers. I very much enjoy your humorous observations about current events. You are my second favorite late-night television host after James Christian Kimmel, born November 13th, 1967 in Brooklyn, New York.
Can we make it talk less? What? It's extra to make it talk less? All right, I guess I'll just learn to live with it. All right, the point is, costs from everything, from food to electricity, are soaring while employers are shedding jobs. This is when a president needs to show empathy, demonstrate that he understands the plight of hardworking Americans. And oh no, as I'm saying this, I'm remembering who I'm talking about and realizing there's no way he's going to do that.
I do want to talk about the economy, sir, here at home. And I wonder what grade you would give your economy. A plus.
Yeah, A plus, 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 plus.
Now, I know that sounds tone deaf, but in fairness, it's possible Trump was just glitching. In fact, if you watch the full clip, I think it's pretty clear it was a software problem.
A plus, 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 plus.
My heating bill just went up another 10%. Now, of course, it won't surprise you to learn that Trump's assessment of the economy is very much at odds with how pretty much everyone else feels about it.
Recent CBS new survey shows just 36% of Americans approve of Trump's handling of the economy. And according to a Fox News poll last month, 62% of Americans say they blame Trump for the current economic conditions.
It has everything to do with inflation. It's the cost of living. You go back to January, he was 3 points above water. Now, 34 points underwater. My goodness gracious, that is a 37-point move in the wrong direction.
So it's less of an A++++ and more of an F minus. But so what? So Trump said something a little tone deaf. Maybe he can just chalk it up to one bad moment, one slip of the tongue. I'm sure he didn't say anything else on Tuesday that sounded as bad as that.
For minors, do we love minors? I love minors.
Now, that's not exactly fair. We took this out of context, and if you heard the whole speech, you'd know he's referring to underage girls. I mean, coal miners. See, it can happen to anybody. This is why you should always read the speech before you say it out loud. You know, just think about how it's going to sound. Like, what else did he accidentally confess to? You know, I drove here today, and my motorcade, it always causes so much traffic. I guess you could say, I'm the king of traffic. I'm the trafficking. It's my favorite thing to do. I'm going to put that on a hat. Trump is trafficking. It's true, you know, I've been trafficking for years. But Trump's insistence that the economy is booming is so out of step, even Fox News isn't fully buying it, which is why they're pressing Trump administration officials on what's really going on.
The November Fox News national survey found that 76% of voters still view the economy negatively, and that's up from 67% who said the same thing in July. What explains that in particular?
Well, first of all, don't forget that because of Joe Biden, then a typical family buying a typical home would have to spend $1,200 a month more on their mortgage. Because of Joe Biden, you know, groceries went from $400 for the typical family for a month to $525. And the fact is that Joe Biden dug a big hole, and we're filling the hole really fast.
Okay, just think about what you're going to say before you say it. I don't want to hear a Trump administration official say the words, we're filling the hole really fast. Joe Biden left us a hole, and when it comes to new home construction, we're hammering that hole. When it comes to oil production, we're drilling that hole, and we're making sure everyone has access to oil and gas, which is why we're laying so much pipe. And we're doing it all with our beautiful
miners.
All right. Seriously, you can't blame Joe Biden anymore. Honestly, no one even remembers that he was president, himself included. That was just a weird fugue state in between Trump terms. Joe Biden is kind of like your second apartment in New York City. Everyone remembers their first apartment. Everyone knows where they live now. But once in a while, you think to yourself, wait a second, did I really live in a studio above the BQE? And did I really think it was an upgrade because instead of a mattress on the floor in the kitchen, it was a futon on the floor in the kitchen? And was Wally really my roommate?
Haha, yes, Seth Meyers. I do have fond memories of that time we cohabitated together.
Seriously, though, how expensive is it to put him in silent mode? $976. That's a whole winter of heat. If I do that, I'm going to have to send Chelsea out for more wood, and I don't want to do that because she's been showing up to work so tired. If I'm being honest, I don't think she likes it. Trump is running up against the same problem Biden had. You can't convince people the economy is good when they can see the truth with their own eyes every time they buy groceries or pay their heating bills. Trump thinks he's crushing it, but the American people think he's
sucking.
This has been a closer look.
It's a fight-off!